The Bank of America crashes, the Chrysler crashes. That's, that's rippling across the world, not just us. So we're no longer in an us community anymore. When you are elected, positive thinker, when you sit your butt in that seat, you have a big task in front of you. That's not. I've always said this. Americans are so damn short-sighted. We haven't been Americans for a long time. We're a global economy. It's not going to go anywhere. If it goes down south, it goes down south altogether. Well, nobody's isolated anymore.
I don't think we bailed out. Well, the bailouts did not bail out us. They bailed out them. And I know what you're saying, but the thing is that if all of a sudden you could not get a loan, okay, you couldn't get a loan. If the thing is that somebody would eventually fill in that gap. And the thing is that when you look at the accumulation of money by percentage, and I don't have the figures in front of me, but you know that from the bailouts that they print the money and they gave it to those industries, what happened to the overall percentage of money? Those failing industries have a greater percentage than they did 2 years ago. And so, and it's accelerating the problem. In my opinion, and I will say this firmly, either the middle class in America survives, or the financial institutions that need the bailouts do. But it can't be both. Because what you're seeing is greater unemployment with every bailout. Because what happens is the inflation destroys the value of your dollar, and your small and middle-sized business takes that burden. Because now the things that basically cost them a lot to continue their business, it costs them money to continue their business, increase in price. And now they go out of business. The heartland of America and what keeps America going and keeps our democracy and our system and our participatory system alive is not Goldman Sachs. It's your local industry. And if that goes, your actual participatory government goes. Because I have people inside my Libertarian Party that have stopped participating because they can no longer afford to live on one job. And so once you're working all the time just to survive because of what the system is doing to you, you no longer have the spare time to get out there to go ahead and question what your government is doing and to protest and be a part of the system. So I firmly believe, and I will say this in front of camera, that there can only be one, like the Highlander I guess, that survives. It's either the American democracy and middle class in this country, representative republic of this country, or it's the financial institutions that are sucking the lifeblood of this country. But both of them cannot survive in the same country.
So what's your plan?
Stop the bailouts, and again, if they can survive, great. If they can't, chop them up, sell off their pieces, and move on.
That's just part of it. What's the other side of the coin? You're just giving us the face. What's the guts of that? That's easy to say. I want to know how you're going to stop it.
What happens? As you said, the cards are on the table, you're calling the bluff, someone's going to die. Okay, who's going to pick up the bodies?
Right. Well, the thing is that those institutions don't go away. When I say put them in receivership, chop them up and put them out, you're chopping them up geographically. We don't need a big 3 automaker or automakers. We need a small 30. Diversify that throughout the community. I mean, if they're so big, if it really that they're so, like, you hear this all the time, they're the smartest people in the world, only these people could run a corporation like this. Obviously not. Obviously they can't. Obviously it was too big for them. If it's too big and unwieldy, and they couldn't run their organization, allow the organization to be broken apart, hopefully on its own, not by the government getting involved. But if the government is now involved like it is now, chop it up and just split it up into smaller pieces. And then just let it be diverse into the various communities. I mean, we don't need 3 automakers in Detroit. We can have automakers all around the country. The thing is that our industry is being centralized in certain locations. And this is not good for us at all. And so I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying that I know the same people were telling me that I can't live without them, and that if I go ahead and disrupt what they're doing, that everything is going to collapse. I believe that they are right. The world will end for them, but not for me. And I do believe that at the end, that even with them saying and threatening that they'll explode our economy and destroy, everything will go. I mean, we went I remember this because I'm a New Yorker and, I moved to Virginia, but, while I was in the Air Force, I watched those towers go down. When someone came over and said that they had a handle on our economy, they were going to try to crash it by committing acts against us, and that unless we went ahead and did what they did, what they wanted us to do, and change our behavior as a country, that they were going to go ahead and continue attacks upon us until basically our economy collapsed and we were destroyed. We went halfway across the world to fight them. Now we're hearing the same types of threats that if we don't do what these people tell us to do, that our entire system is going to collapse, and we're going to be walking around with clubs and knocking each other around the heads, for food. And they're demanding this, and then we don't have the gall to say no. That we're so fearful that we're going to go ahead and trust you, who can't even run a company that you told us after you're the smartest person in the world that you can run a large corporation, yet you've shown that you can't, and I'm supposed to trust you that if I don't hand you trillions of dollars that this system will cease to be? No. It will end the world, but it will end their world, not this one, in my opinion. And again, I will stand by that statement.
Well, I still need a plan.
Okay. The plan is to stop it for now.
You know what's interesting about this conversation? You know what I'm hearing here? You hear it everywhere in this country. When is the average citizen going to take a risk? You're looking at this young man right here and saying, what are you going to do for me? Well, I'm telling you, he's right. I, for one, saw McCain riding on his white horse back in October. And I said, this man has just made the election or lost it. And he lost it because he didn't have the guts to let this facade fall.
Yeah,
I, for one, am willing to let the facade fall and start all over again. That's what made this country great to begin with. So God bless you.
I just don't want people telling me we're going to do this and then you don't have a plan to get it done.
Well, I plan to vote no on every time they send out to do any type of form of corporate welfare, whether or not it's a bailout or whether or not it's a handout to Walmart or Target.
Does that include,
Does
that include getting states their money, their quote-unquote monies? Because I can't tell you how many billions of dollars McCain took for the state of Virginia, whereas the state of South Carolina stood up from their nose at Washington and said, no, you ain't going to bribe me.
But if I was a delegate, I would say yes. And I would thumb my nose. I'm not running as a delegate, and I certainly wouldn't offer a bribe to anybody to pass legislation. If I think it's a good legislation, why would I want to attach money to it? So, I'm not, and again, I am going to say this here for the cameras, you're going to hear from every politician, because I know I've heard it. I have a new program. I have a new agency. I am not selling an agency, I am not selling a program. What I'm selling is what is keeping the American person from operating a business out of their own home. What is keeping us from actually able to earn wealth out of our own trade and our own efforts? What is keeping us from doing these things? And if it's the destruction of our dollar, I'm going to vote against that. If it's some regulation that's on the books that is helping a corporation by hurting the average person running a business out of their home, I'm going to vote to get rid of that. That is what I'm seeking. I'm not seeking a new agency. I'm not seeking a new program. I'm not looking to send billions of dollars to states so they can buy on the program because I don't have one to sell. I want to go ahead and I'm looking for reform of the system, not tacking on new programs to the system.
Good. I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Would you be for term limits?
Yes, because and this goes for me too. This goes for me also.